Evidentemente no es falso.
Did the president of Mexico just admit to rigging Miss Universe 2025? Personally, I didn't know that passport strength was on the Miss Universe scorecard. It is definitely not too much to ask that the process of selecting the next Miss Universe should be a thoroughly transparent one. I'm sitting in a new location because the power is out and I can't use any of my lights, so I'm in front of a window, you know. If it will do it live, I can't afford to waste any time not filming this video. It is like this long. And there have been so many things that have happened since the start of Miss Universe this year. A lot of little things that have added up to the absolute chaos that we are seeing in the Miss Universe realm right now. You know, people didn't just wake up one day and decide to be angry AF at Miss Universe and their owner. There have been some crumbs, you know, like Hansel and Gretel type of crumbs left behind throughout this entire edition of Miss Universe, which have made people question whether or not this Miss Universe edition is 100% legit. So we have to start at the very beginning, when the Miss Universe 2025 organizer Nawat, who happens to be the national director of Miss Universe Thailand and the owner of another major international pageant called Miss Grand International, called out some of the contestants for not following his orders regarding them creating and posting content about sponsors. He then directly targets Miss Universe Mexico, Fatima Bosch, and speaks to her in a very disrespectful manner, causing many of the Miss Universe candidates to stand up and start walking out.
No, not about you. Not about you. Not about you.
It's not about me. It's about all the people that I represent.
I didn't give you opportunity to talk. Please keep polite for me. I still talking. I still talking. Listen. I still keep talking to everybody. Why you stand up to talk to me?
Because I have a voice and it's not correct, but it's not. If you have a problem...
No, you have a voice, but you have to respect.
Yeah,
The voice?
you are not respecting me as a woman.
What? No, why you stand up?
Because I have...
Where's the gun? Security. No, just leave it here. She stand and she talk by herself.
All the delegates, stand up. As a woman, we have respect. They need to have respect for us. I'm here representing a country, and it's not my fault that you have problems with my organization.
No. Listen. You must listen to me, and then when I ask you,
This is the show. This is the wrong
stop. Security. ปิดประตู Stop. Sit down. If anyone wants continue the contest, sit down. If you step out, the rest of the girl continue.
And so the owner of Miss Universe, Raul Rocha, who is Mexican and not in Thailand where Miss Universe is being held at this moment, makes a public statement strongly condemning Nawat for how he spoke to the candidates. In response, Nawat publicly apologizes, or at least attempts to. He cries and says that running Miss Universe is very stressful and that he put a lot of money into it, and just generally tries to explain himself. The reason why I'm mentioning this very early saga is because viewers now are thinking that this whole thing has been set up in order to make Fatima Bosch the perfect female empowerment sort of figure or hero, you know, making her look like a victim and someone who stood up to her bully, endearing her to fans and also the wider public media. After all, Fatima definitely didn't waver to speak to the press who were there right after, like directly after this incident was happening, and a lot of people even have been saying that this statement that she made standing up to Nawat was even better than any of her final questions.
As a country, you have all my respect. I truly love Thailand. I respect all of you. I think that you are amazing people. But what just your director did is not respectful. He called me dumb because he had problems with the organization. And I think that's not fair. because I'm here and I do everything okay. I don't mess with anyone. I just try to be kind. I'm trying to give my best. And he just shot me and he just said to me and shut up and a lot of different things. And I think that the world needs to see this because we are empowered women and this is a platform for our voice. And no one can shut our voice.
Early in Miss Universe 2025, Raul really tried his best to show contempt for Nawat, even posting the stock prices which had been going down for Nawat's company, Miss Grand International, on his personal Instagram stories. But when Raul arrived back in Thailand, they were seemingly back to being chommy again, even though Nawat made a fuss over a sponsored banner of an online gambling company that was sponsoring Miss Universe standing in a Miss Universe venue. Many agreed with him despite his clear overreaction, because gambling is indeed illegal in Thailand, and Nawat apparently held an unauthorized contest where 10 winners would have dinner with him. He claimed this was part of his contract with Miss Universe. Point is, in the start of Miss Universe's 50% stake owner, Raul and Nawat seemed to have a lot of drama between them, culminating in Nawat speaking down to Fatima Bosch from Mexico in the way that he did. So the question is, was Nawat taking out his frustrations with Raul on Miss Universe Mexico, or was it all one big conspiracy in which everyone was involved in order to make Miss Mexico the perfect female empowerment advocate and make her more popular in the wider media? To me, both are plausible, especially if you take into account the results of Miss Universe 2025 and the reasoning that most people are giving for her deserving to win, which is this altercation that she had with Nawat. And remember when I mentioned that Raul and Nawat had a reconciliation after Raul finally arrived in Thailand? Well, the man who seemed to bridge this divide was none other than Omar Harfouch, official judge for Miss Universe 2025 and someone who was supposed to perform musically at finals. Why is this important? Because Omar Harfouch has become one of Raul's most outspoken critics. In fact, he wasn't involved at Miss Universe 2025 prelims or finals at all because he claims that he resigned due to the fact that, among other things, the top 30 was selected even before prelims by a panel which did not include the official judges, and he didn't want to be inauthentic and have people believe that he had a hand in choosing this top 30 when he didn't. The Miss Universe organization released a statement confirming the existence of the Beyond the Crown project committee, which were tasked with deliberating the Beyond the Crown social projects of Miss Universe candidates, and is totally separate from who gets into the top 30 of the actual Miss Universe 2025 competition.
I just received the official statement of Miss Universe concerning my resignation from the jury. And I am so surprised. They completely recognized that they did something wrong. I will read to you what is written and then I will explain. They are saying that there is a selection committee of the Beyond the Crown program. I never heard about this committee of the Beyond the Crown program. And then they explain that this committee is independent from Miss Universe. They are entirely separately, I'm reading the statement of Miss Universe, they are entirely separately from the Miss Universe competition and from all official judging panel. But this committee, which is officially separated as they are recognizing, how they can choose the 30 finalists, how they can eliminate more than the half of the planet. These people who they are officially by Miss Universe, a completely separately entity, and they are working and they are doing everything in secret because I signed a contract to be judge. No one told me. I never saw the name of this committee who called Beyond the Crown program. And when we go to see who are these people, we discovered that they are, many of them, very close to some of the contestants. And anyway, in any contest, Raul, basta Raul, I'm telling you, this is a crazy thing. You cannot be the head of international competition like Miss Universe And inside you do a secret committee behind the crown that nobody knows, that you can ask them to react, to work in secret, and nobody knows about it. It's impossible. It is impossible. We are now in 2025. It's a transparency time. It's democracy. Raul, you lied on me. For months we are talking about transparency. Every time I can show all the people, all our exchanges. Never you told me about this committee, secret committee. You never told me about it. You always said to me that I am going with the 7 other judges to judge all of the contestants. And I signed for this. Not that there is a secret undercover submarine called I don't know how, without I don't know whom, that they decide in the place of everybody. And also, don't forget that there is a percentage of public vote. What do you do with the public vote? Do you take the public vote and you lie on them also because there is a secret committee, the crown, behind the crown? Nobody knows about it. If its committee exists, it's a huge scandal. I am happy that I could make this thing open to public, and I want now to cancel the decision of the secret crown behind the crown decision and let all the countries equally do the contest. And I am asking Raul to step away from this organization because Raul, I must tell you, basta. It is not your own competition, it is world competition. The young girls, they are here in Bangkok because they believe in this competition. You cannot lie on them, you cannot lie on us. Anyway, on me you cannot. So, you still have a chance. You cancel, I'm telling you, you cancel this decision. They are not legal. They were in secret. You publish the name because I obliged you to publish the name. I asked you to cancel it and you refused to cancel it. That's why I resigned. You did the wrong thing also for the girls, that they didn't know neither about this secret behind the crown, that you only know.
And the question is Omar just confused, or is he implying that despite what Miss Universe is saying, he's holding firm the top 30 was already chosen before prelims or finals? According to him, the secret jury, which had a hand in allegedly selecting the top 30, included at least one person who was, according to Omar, romantically involved with the contestant. For obvious reasons, if true, this would be a clear conflict of interest. Not only this, but Omar was one of the first to point out an apparent conflict of interest where Miss Mexico's father was a director at a company which in 2023 awarded a 745 million peso contract to another company that belongs to Miss Universe's owner, Raul Rocha. And this, to me at least, is a very suspicious piece of info. Not to mention the fact that Omar has stated that Raul's son allegedly said to Omar that it would be in their business's best interest if Miss Mexico won. Omar alleges that shady practices went beyond the crowning moment, since he was asked to apparently transport 4 trophies with him from Dubai to Thailand, allegedly because Raul was concerned that he would be stopped by police due to his connections with Miss Universe and the former Miss Universe owner Anne, who currently has a warrant out for her arrest. Allegedly, Anne recently obtained Mexican citizenship with the help of Raul Rocha. And to me, this is very interesting because you would think that obtaining citizenship for any country so quickly and with such a difficult financial background such as Anne would be very difficult and would take a long time to achieve. How did she get citizenship so quickly, if in fact she did? Might there have been some extra help from the Mexican government? I'm just asking questions, but more on that later. Now, the transport of these trophies is quite interesting because according to these texts, which Omar claims to be exchanges between himself and Raul's assistant, the names of the winners of these trophies are already on them. As you can see, these trophies include the 3 Beyond the Crown trophies, which were awarded to 3 candidates after Miss Universe had been crowned. The Beyond the Crown journey was also, according to Omar, perhaps the committee who pre-selected the top 30, but also had a member on it who was romantically linked to a contestant. And wouldn't you know it, the winner of both the Beyond the Crown Award and the Public Choice Award was Miss Paraguay, whose boyfriend was indeed on the Beyond the Crown journey and allegedly involved with the counting of votes. This sort of situation would be the perfect example of a conflict of interest. But if these trophies already had the names of the winners on them as early as November 14th, according to Omar, then why would the Beyond the Crown jury have had to come together at all during the running of Miss Universe, except if, as Omar alleges, they were tasked with deliberating and selecting the top 30 early. And perhaps the only reason for the existence of rumors of such an outside jury in the first place, perhaps, maybe, allegedly, would be to cover up the fact that there was no jury. Maybe the top 30 was selected by Raul all on his own. After Miss Universe 2025 concluded, Omar stated that he had told HBO a day before the finals that it was all rigged in favor of Mexico. All of the details of this interview will apparently be aired on HBO in May 2026. Far from being the only one. Days before Miss Universe happened, there were so many rumors circulating and speculations that Mexico would win, not on account of merit, but because it's rigged. One person even alleges that it has more to do with Raul's professional relationship with Mexico's government than anything else. According to them, the Mexican government made a deal with Raul to crown the Mexican candidate as Miss Universe to cover up all of the violent anti-government protests in Mexico at the moment, and I am also assuming to create some national pride and patriotism. When directly asked about this, the president of Mexico said this.
A partir de su respuesta, ¿usted o alguien de su gobierno compró el certamen de Miss Universo para hacer una cortina de humo, presidente?
Ay, o sea, evidentemente no es falso, pero además no hay que hacer caso de esas cosas. Y además nuestra felicitación a la joven que ganó el certamen. Ya lo dije, más allá de las críticas que pueda, o de los cuestionamientos que pueda haber a certámenes de este tipo, ella, además de tener su mérito siempre, levantó la voz en un momento en donde trataron de minimizarla. Y eso tiene mucho mérito, mucho mérito. Evidentemente no es falso.
Have I been smoking socks, or did the president of Mexico just admit to rigging Miss Universe 2025? I reached out to my most trusted Spanish friend to ask if this was translated correctly, and he confirmed that the part where she said evidently it's not false is in fact correctly translated. Maybe it was a slip of the tongue, a Freudian slip maybe. Maybe she meant to say evidently no, it's false. Her avoidant body language as a whole speaks volumes though. This is the leader of a nation, and she is answering this question as if we are here asking her about nuclear codes. As she continues to speak, it seems that she thinks of Miss Universe as a trivial and unimportant thing, that Miss Mexico deserved to win because she stood up for herself against Nawat, which again reinforces the idea that the Nawat drama was all staged. Honestly, I can see why people are rioting against this government, but it sure would be useful if the Mexican government owed you a favor, wouldn't it? Overall, I think this Mexican government theory is a theory worth consideration. When it comes to the allegations of Raul's company's contract with the company at which Miss Mexico's father was employed, Raul issued a lengthy statement in which he confirms the existence of a contract between his company and the one at which Miss Mexico's father was employed, but that the contract ended on December 31st, 2023. Basically what he's trying to say is that he didn't have contact with Miss Mexico's father or family then, and also that was almost 3 years ago, so it shouldn't have anything to do with Miss Universe now, and it can't. Although some may argue that there is always a chance of a contract being entered into again by the two companies, and also 3 years ago is not that long ago. When it comes to Omar Harfouch, Raul's biggest critic at the moment, Raul also voiced his opinions in a social media post accusing Omar of being an opportunist and an unknown pseudo-musician in search of followers. This he says about a man who has 10 times his following and whose music has been added to the Vatican Apostolic Library. Funny how Raul's standard for what qualifies as a musician is so extremely high, but his standard for what qualifies as a Miss Universe is frankly mediocre. Omar is a composer and pianist, okay? I honestly have never heard of a clout-chasing composer. I think Omar just honestly feels that there was injustice here. In Raul's social media post, he also talks about how only watching the final show does not give you a clear indication as to who should win. He talks about how during the running of the competition, there are situations where discipline, responsibility, professionalism, sisterhood, a spirit of service, and many other values, especially loyalty to all other competitors, must prevail. He goes on to say that the discipline committee takes all of these things into account, as well as a private interview and also the judges' evaluations. So is this discipline committee different from the judging panel? And isn't it the case that the only officially scored segments of Miss Universe pre-finals are the closed-door interviews and the preliminary swimsuit and gown competition, and thus these are the only factors which should have a hand in who qualifies to be in the top 30? I've never heard of all of those arbitrary qualities being scored. I mean, how can you even score some of those things? Not to mention, during finals, as soon as the top 30 are on stage, they should start with a clean score sheet, and their finals only performance should determine the winner. Like, technically that is how it is supposed to work? Or are you telling me that this discipline committee chose the top 30 based on arbitrary values such as loyalty to other contestants, and then these scores bled over into the final scores? Honestly, this all sounds very similar to what Omar was saying about the existence of a secret jury who pre-selected the top 30. It just happens to be called the Discipline Committee instead of Beyond the Crown, if in fact this happens to be the case. Raul is trying so hard to justify Mexico's win instead of just releasing the scorecards, because I have a feeling that what we will see on the scorecards will not reflect what ended up happening on the stage at final. Natalie Glebova, who was a finals night judge, already said that Miss Thailand was her pick, but she did also state how she was concerned about the fact that there was no auditing firm seemingly involved with Miss Universe this year. And Louis Heredia, who was also a judge, alluded to the fact that he gave Miss Philippines very high scores in all categories of the competition, and he didn't mention or congratulate Miss Mexico at all. Miss Universe 2020, Andrea Meza, who was also a judge and from Mexico, didn't look like Miss Mexico was her pick either, judging by the fact that this was how she looked during Mexico's crowning moment. And there were 5 other judges as well, but what are the odds of them all picking Mexico of their own volition, that is, without being coerced, when the entire public consensus strongly seems to lean towards Côte d'Ivoire, or literally anybody else who was in the top 5, but especially Côte d'Ivoire. Like, I have never seen unity the likes of which I have seen in the past few days in the pageant industry ever. Côte d'Ivoire has united us all. You know it's injustice on a new level when you've got the Filipinos and the Thais sitting around the same table. Even the Miss Universe 2025 host, Steve Byrne, who has a financial interest in being invited back to host again next year, has publicly stated that he thought Miss Côte d'Ivoire deserved to win.
Hey there, so I'm leaving Bangkok. Just want to address some of the crazy DMs, comments, and messages I've gotten pertaining to hosting Miss Universe 2025. No, I did not read the list upside down. I didn't read it backwards. I definitely didn't make up my own winners. I wouldn't even know how to judge the criteria. Had I messed it up, the director, pageant officials, they would have been in my ear with the earpiece or probably stormed the stage, to be honest with you. All that said, you know, congratulations to Miss Mexico. I'll be honest, when I was watching everything unfold, and especially in the final five, I thought Miss Côte d'Ivoire was going to win. That's who I thought was going to win. Miss Mexico won, so congratulations to her. And one thing I'll point out, people ask me why I did the catwalk. So I was told the final 12, the list wasn't ready and we were going to air soon. And Marcus, the director, told me, you need to kill time. You need to stretch. And I thought, well, how much time is it? Is it 30 seconds? Is it 10 seconds? Is it 1 minute, 2 minutes? What is it? And then the director told me, cueing Steve, and I was, welcome back to the 74th Miss Universe final. And I didn't know how long I had, so I literally just said, okay, so all the women do the catwalk, I'll do the catwalk. So that's why I did that. And then they said, the list is ready, run over the stage. So I finished it, ran over, grabbed it, read the top 12. But look, it was an honor, it was a privilege to get to do it. And no, I did not make up my own list. I didn't read it backwards. After the incident with Steve Harvey, I knew how much pressure was on me to get it right. So I hope I did a great job. I had a wonderful time doing it. It was an honor and a privilege and a thrill to do it. And I'll tell you the best part about it, meeting all 120 of those women, because they were fantastic. They were so gracious. They exemplified such poise, and they were awesome. And I'll tell you the best part, no twerking.
The resignations at Miss Universe 2025 really have been wild. Not only did Omar Harfouch publicly end up stepping down as a judge, but two other supposed judges didn't end up being judges either. And I cannot say they resigned because according to Raul Rocha, nobody resigned. He is quite adamant about this, but if they didn't resign, the implication is still that they were dismissed, and that still raises more questions than it answers. The resignations even continued after crowning, with Miss Universe Estonia, Brigitta Shabak, resigning her national title. The national director of Miss Universe Guyana and co-director of Miss Universe Ghana resigned due to Miss Universe transparency concerns, and the cherry on top is the woman of the moment, Olivia Yacé from Côte d'Ivoire, resigned from her recently awarded title of Miss Universe Africa and Oceania, presumably because she sees it as the poor consolation prize that it is. And Miss Philippines and Miss Thailand seem to have rejected the continental title of Miss Universe Asia outright, and this ended up going to Miss China. In her statement, Olivia states that she is taking this action to better align with her values. Miss Namibia, Johanna Swartboy, who was also a contestant at Miss Universe 2025, responded by saying that Miss Côte d'Ivoire deserves more and that God has a better plan that isn't limited by an organization that doesn't share her principles. Scathing. Speaking of Olivia Yacé, who represented Côte d'Ivoire at Miss Universe 2025, the owner of Miss Universe, Raul Rocha, appeared on an interview talking in Spanish about the fact that many things go into choosing a winner, and then drawing attention to the fact that people who hold passports from the Ivory Coast needs a visa for more than 170 countries, which allegedly would have made it difficult for them to have her as Miss Universe.
Y para los que dicen de Côte d'Ivoire, que por qué no ganó, hay muchas cosas que se valoran. Côte d'Ivoire necesita, entren a Google, todos tienen ahí un celular, y busquen cuántos países necesita Côte d'Ivoire visa para poder entrar. 175. ¿Qué? Sí, 175. La chamba es por un año de Miss Universe. 175 países le piden visa a Côte d'Ivoire. Pues ya no, entonces va a ser la Miss Universe que se la pasó todo un año en un apartamento. Pues claro, queremos que sea Universe. Okay. La que más viaje y más contacto tenga con gente en el mundo.
Personally, I didn't know that passport strength was on the Miss Universe scorecard, and if this is in fact the case, then you might as well stop wasting people's time and resources and outright ban all developing nations. So let me get this straight. Stage performance and speaking ability, all of that matters less than passport strength. But looking at this map, based on that criteria, Mexico still fails to make the top 50. This is also a silly argument to make because in my experience, Governments will issue diplomatic passports to contestants who are international title holders such as Miss Universe. And a diplomatic passport allows you to travel anywhere visa-free. But low-key, many people are saying that Olivia Yacé from Côte d'Ivoire holds a United States passport. So what is this man even talking about? Miss Guadeloupe, who is also arguably one of the most robbed candidates of Miss Universe 2025, released a statement strongly condemning the notion that passport strength should have anything to do with which country wins, especially since the Miss Universe organization is still happily collecting license fees from these very same weak passport countries. Raul then goes on to talk about how pageant viewers don't know anything when it is clearly him lacking knowledge and failing to come up with an adequate excuse as to why Miss Côte d'Ivoire didn't win. And it seems that Raul has a certain type when it comes to the women who he preferred to be in his company and to ride with him on his private jet. Perhaps his Threads history can give us an indication of the flavor of companion he prefers. In this very same interview, he alludes to the fact that he regrets buying 50% share in Miss Universe and is looking to sell.
¿Ya te arrepentiste de haber comprado? ¿Qué eres? ¿Eres socio a la mitad de Miss Universo?
Accionista al 50% y presidente. Ando buscando a quién pasarle, esto es como prueba, como carrera de relevos, a quién pasarle la estafeta.
Oh guys, we're bullying him. How dare we question his authority and demand transparency and fairness? Raul, get down from the cross. We need the wood. Also, why is he conducting an interview under the most chaotic circumstances ever? Like, man looks like he is climbing Mount Everest, okay? What is this angle? Omar Harfouch also posted a screenshot where Miss Côte d'Ivoire personally thanked him for speaking out, as well as claiming that Raul is blatantly racist. And I'm sure even after posting this video, lots of other news will come out, and if so, please enlighten us in the comments about what has been happening. My view on Mexico being crowned is just that never in Miss Universe history has a woman who was so objectively mediocre in every single facet of the competition crowned Miss Universe. Mediocre certainly against the rest of the top 5 who were ranked beneath her inevitably. Many viewers have voiced concerns, obviously for good reason, about the fact that so many women work so hard and use up so many resources in order to go to Miss Universe, only for Miss Universe to end up being not as transparent as we would like. Raul Rocha talks about how Miss Universe covers all of the girls' basic necessities while they are in Thailand, and he is making it sound like this is something Miss Universe does out of the kindness of their heart and not like it's literally the industry standard and bare minimum to supply the delegates with room and board and other experiences while they are competing. Make no mistake, pageantry is not free and cheap, and aside from the fact that most of these women on stage had to go through lengthy and costly processes to even have the opportunity to represent their country on stage, somebody also had to pay a costly Miss Universe licensing fee in order to even have the right to send a woman to Miss Universe. With all of this in mind, it is definitely not too much to ask that the process of selecting the next Miss Universe should be a thoroughly transparent one. And this is perfectly doable if there is nothing shady going on. Not only does Miss Universe make money from their contestants and from licensing fees and such, but they also make money from us viewers when pitching our numbers that we provide in views to sponsors. Miss Universe is a for-profit company, not a charity, and the notion that supplying contestants being literally the only reason your company exists, with room and board during their 20-day participation, is not a clap-worthy achievement, sorry to say. And I'm not one for body language reading, but I thought that the brother of Miss Mexico's reaction during the crowning moment was quite interesting.
We're now down to the final 2. Please step forward. Miss Mexico, Miss Thailand. You do not pull a Steve Harvey here, Steve. Here we go. Miss Universe is Mexico!
Not only did he not look surprised at all, he also stood up and fixed his tie before she was even called as Miss Universe. The cameras always pan to the family's winner during the crowning moment, so was he fixing himself up because he knew he was going to be on TV soon? Miss Fiji 2024 also wasn't beating around the bush and said exactly what she was thinking.
This is a question for the Miss Universe organization. If you guys already have your winners pre-picked, your top 30, your top 12 or whatever, you already pre-picked, which you do, you cannot even say no, which you do and we all know, why do you waste so many girls' time? We women put in so much time and effort into this. Some women dream of this their whole life. I know there are women out there who have dreamt of being a Miss Universe representative since they were a young girl. I was one of them. And the shock that I got when I got onto that stage was crazy because honestly, pageants are not empowering. Pageants are disempowering. Pageants are rigged, pageants are corrupted, and Miss Universe is a big example of that. So Miss Universe organization, what's the point of holding a whole 3-week competition when you already know who the winner's going to be? Don't do it. Stop wasting time. Stop wasting time and money and energy and resources of those girls who literally sacrifice everything to be on that stage, only for them to be met with unfairness and biasness and corruption.
Osmal de Sousa, someone who I strongly dislike, but who for interest's sake also resigned from Miss Universe quite recently, also claimed that he knew beforehand that it would be Thailand and Mexico from the start.
Esto va a estar entre México y Tailandia, acuérdense.
Viewers certainly thought that it was interesting that the pageant started with strained relations between Mexican Raul and Thai Nawat and ended with Miss Mexico and Miss Thailand as the top two, with Miss Mexico being crowned the winner. And that's also the thing. It's not that I dislike or hate the woman who ended up winning. Like, she is a perfectly good, normal person. It's just all of these circumstantial things are highly questionable, coupled with the fact that by no metric, by no means, if we're looking at the things that were theoretically supposed to be scored, even including passport strength, was she the best candidate there? It just doesn't make sense. And it is increasingly clear to me that this man, Raul Rocha, thinks that all of the Miss Universe viewers are idiots. He said that he was looking into new ownership for Miss Universe, and I want someone to make him pinky promise on that, because I would like to see a change before the next Miss Universe happens. Anyway, that's all the tea up to now, even though by the time I edit and post this video, there will be a whole new kettle of tea boiling, probably, in which case I will attempt to update everyone in the comments, maybe even make a follow-up video. But anyway, let me know what you guys think about this whole mess. It's just a mess. It's just a mess. Can we please go back to Miss Universe being about the contestants and the biggest scandal being maybe a girl accidentally stepping on another girl's dress or something? I can't take this anymore. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you stuck it out this long, I know it's a lot of info to take in. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.